I found that I know very little, and I know this is an old expression, the more you know, the less you know, and how absolutely true it has become in my own life. And, when I think about power and the things that Nikola Tesla gave us 100 years ago, that we're still not using. We're still not using free power because of the powers that be. They would lose so much money. And Tesla gave us absolutely free power. I mean, completely free power. And had patents. To this day, you can look up the patents. And the information is there. And in the 50s, Henry Murray, out of Salt Lake City, produced or replicated Tesla technology and created free energy systems and applied for the patents, had working models, thousands of people saw them, and yet the patents office refused his patents. Not that they didn't work and produce free power, 100% clean, free power, but they refused under the grounds that he couldn't prove the source of his power. Well, that becomes almost a spiritual question. That gets really deep. The source, really going to the source. The earth itself. I thought I knew the earth, and then I realized we're using old science and old stories and everything I've seen from the moon landings, and all this is Hollywood, and it seems so obvious. And we don't have any images of the earth. We have no images. We have 8 images, official images. I think that recently Russia put out a 9th. And these are absolutely ridiculous images. Even NASA admits that those are not real images. They're composites. They absolutely admit it. And yet they take trillions of dollars from us. And that's all I want from NASA, is a real picture of Earth. Nobody's ever seen a real picture of Earth. Little slice here, a little slice there. You'll see a fisheye lens perspective of the Earth. But if you look carefully, you'll see a whole continent taking up the whole Earth. That's not a real representation of the Earth. That's a little chunk of it. And it's been fisheyed. We don't actually get pictures of the Earth. And when we send balloons up, the Earth appears to continue to be flat. There is no curvature measured. And NASA could put this to bed. They really could. Give us a picture if it's true. Turn the Hubble around. Give us a picture of the Earth. Give us a 24-hour video of the Earth spinning. Nobody's ever seen that except in Hollywood movies. And it's really fascinating, actually, that we're not more critical, and that we don't question, and we don't hold those that tell us these things accountable. Why don't we have a say in the space program? We would have a say in the educational program. If there were atrocities, we would say something. Parents would speak out, and they do every day. But when it comes to this, our very foundation of existence, nobody seems to care. Are we so preoccupied in our jobs and our conditioning? I beg that we wake up. And if we put a video, a time-lapse in the sky, it just goes around the North Pole. Polaris, that's why they call it Polaris, the North Pole, the pole star. And everything spins around it. As if. So, as far as the narrative goes, on a more humanitarian level, in our evolution as humans, it's equally ridiculous. We're taught, let's just say, forget about going back to single-celled organisms, but let's just say we came from apes. Let's not even say that. Let's say we just came from Neanderthal. Well, okay, we go forward and we live in caves, and then we build bigger and bigger, and technology gets better and better, and we're in skyscrapers. I mean, that's the narrative that we have. But we don't see that. We absolutely don't see that. And again, it's not questioned. We see completely the reverse. The further back you go, the greater the architecture. Not only the beauty, but the building style and the megalithic size of the block work and the precision of cutting of the rocks that we cannot replicate today. And so this doesn't fit the narrative. We're primitive now, and we've lost so much. We've lost the ability to build these grand pieces of architecture. And I think it goes back to every single part of our art, for example, hasn't progressed. Our music hasn't progressed. I don't know if anything has progressed. It appears that we have gone backwards. It appears that the further back you go, the greater. And even beyond building, the people before the people that built things didn't need to build things. I believe they either grew them or they just had the ability to carve into rock with a laser like precision and scoop rock out with ease. Who would need to build if you could do that? You would just pick a nice, hard, rocky mountain and build inward. Carve whatever you need, and there'd be no need to build. And that's what we see. We see, and these builders, which I think are the greatest, we give the least credit to, and we attribute as the most primitive, which I think is tragic. And we remain in this ignorant state. We've been taught to be ignorant, and that we are the great ones. We are the great civilization. And yet, nobody needs to be told how this doesn't appear to be so. Things are crumbling, and everything is cheap that we make, and there's no quality, and what will last? And so I beg that we question, and we hold those accountable, must be held accountable, to give us the truth. And we will get closer. Well, that's it for now. Thanks so much for listening, and have a blessed day.